Hello.
Hi.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening. You're welcome.
Thank you for honoring our invitation, Ma.
Very, very welcome. It's good to be here.
Same here. We're glad to have you. So I'll just wait a few more minutes, then we'll start this.
Ah.
Yes, Ma.
You can just refer to me as FW.
Okay, FW. That's great. I really like that. I think that's cool. Okay, so good evening, everyone. We're starting now. We'll just go ahead and we let others join us in the course of the meeting. We don't want to keep ourselves waiting because we realize it's been a hectic day and a hectic week. So just like you say, this is MSME Africa. And this is growth series, business growth series. And this evening we are honored to have the presence of FW, yes, Mrs. Fayo Williams, but then we're shortening it to FW for the sake of, being cool this evening. So we're all cool people, and we're glad to have you here. So just quickly, I don't know, let's use the chat box to interact with each other. I would have loved that we'll put on our mic just for a few seconds or a few minutes to say hi. So if you're not in a noisy place, we'd like to hear your voice. You can just put on your mic, say good evening to FW, and thank her for honoring our invitation, please.
Good evening, FW.
Good evening,
Thank you
for coming.
W, thank you for honoring the invitation. God bless
Oh,
you.
you're also welcome. Thank you for the warm welcome. I really feel loved and feel blessed.
Good evening, FW.
Good evening. How are you guys? How's everyone? Thank you so much. Okay, then, Mercy.
All right, so thank you everyone for doing that for us at MSME Africa. God bless you all. So quickly, I'll just run through FW's bio. It's a very short one. I like the fact that she sent me a very abridged version of her bio, even though I know that she has experience that spans over or more than a decade. So quickly, Fayo Williams is an international labor organization, start and improve your business master trainer and certified management consultant with a background in pharmacy. With 30 years experience as an entrepreneur, she has coached and mentored over 1,000 entrepreneurs, as well as some startups in various industries. She is a World Bank trained business development service provider. She is the founder and managing consultant of Simply Exponential Consults Limited and serves in the capacity of director in a health and safety company. Fayo Williams is a council member of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and she has been featured by Facebook Streaming Business. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I present to you FW, and this evening she will be speaking on the topic how to write a company business plan. So, it is not just enough as business owners. It doesn't matter the length of years you've been in practice. There is always a place of learning, unlearning and relearning. So that is what we're going to do this evening, regardless of what stage of entrepreneurship we are at the moment. And because we deserve the best and our business deserve the best, So over to you, Ma.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mercy. I hope you can all hear me. Now, I hope you can all hear me. Mercy, can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you clearly.
Awesome. And I do hope you have the slides ready. So I would like to say, Mercy, that I don't really need to be co-host because you'll be beaming the slides from your end. I didn't want to give Mr. Sheye Olurotimi a heart attack because what happened was that this morning, as I was trying to use the HDMI cable to link my computer to an LED screen, the computer crashed.
Wow.
My laptop crashed. My slides had not been sent. I've had to move all my files into a hard drive and then transfer them to another computer. So this evening, I was just running on like empty, and I felt I should send Mercy the slides. So in terms of housekeeping, Mercy, can you mute everybody? We
Okay,
have
Ma,
some
I'll do that.
interfering noises. Please
Yes.
be the host, mute everybody, start the slides, and let's roll.
Okay, ma'am.
So the very first interaction I would like from the participants on this call is that in one word, describe what you have gained from MSME Africa. I would particularly like to acknowledge them because they are doing an awesome job, really awesome. In my opinion, the very first call I joined, they took me through a PR blueprint, you know, and thereafter we've learned about Facebook ads and so many other things, okay? So in one word in the chat room, just put in, what have you learned from MSME Africa? What have you gained from MSME Africa? And add your name. Would love to hear from you. So let's go to the next slide. In terms of the next slide, I think Mercy has introduced me and she spoke about a decade experience, but I have news for you. In April 2021, I clocked 30 years as an entrepreneur. So next slide, Mercy, next slide. 30 years as an entrepreneur, and you are all welcome. So next slide, please. I don't want to dwell too much on the fact of who I am. Let's go into the agenda. So by the end of this session, hopefully the session should last about 45 minutes. We should all be able to explain exactly what a business plan is. We should be able to feel the major components of the business plan in a compelling way, in a way that really attracts attention, in the way that gets results. And then thirdly, you should be able to gather needed data for the accompanying financial statements. So I like some of the comments I'm seeing in the chat room. I'll just quickly go over them. Somebody says insight. John is saying he has gained a lot of insight. Oloyede Olawale says information dissemination. Yes, MSME Africa is always telling us where the grants are, where the opportunities are, and that's lovely. Gabriel says MSME fuels hope in me daily. Gabriel Fijel, thank you very much. I agree with all these comments. They have been awesome. Again, Mercy, please take hosting rights away from me. I'm seeing so many requests for admittance or something. So maybe no problem. You can take it away from me. All right, ma. All right, next slide. So next slide, I'll also be following it. My new system here. Yeah. And my question is, what is a business plan? We want this to be a bit interactive. So what is a business plan? If you have any idea, put it in the chat room. We want to know whether you think that business plan is that document that is several volumes high, maybe like 3 inches thick.
Come back when you are done with your
present to the bank. Once again, I will appeal to all of us. If you are not speaking, be muted because we are still hearing some yes mummies and co in the background. We know it's family time, and we're very happy to have the attention of everybody. So what is a business plan? What does it mean to you? Is it 3 inches thick? I want to know. So somebody says it's about how to put structure in place for business success. Beautiful. Michael Adediran, I hope that is an answer to my question because it's a brilliant answer. A business plan serves as a kind of roadmap. Next slide. It serves as a guide. It helps to tell the investor or whoever it is what you are all about. It usually consists of a narrative, that is the write-up, and then 3 standard financial spreadsheets. One is the income statement. It used to be called profit and loss, but accountants, they're always evolving. The whole world is evolving. They call it income statement. Then you have the cash flow plans, and then you have statement of financial position, which used to be called the balance sheet. And you know what? The greatest benefit of creating a business plan is not in that finished product that you bind and you are so proud of, but the process of researching, thinking about your business, going out to do competitor analysis, going out to find out prices of equipment that you need in starting up the business, in finding out what is the going rate, even for staff. Because if you don't offer a good going rate, staff are not going to stay with you. So the act of planning it all out, it helps you to think deeply. It helps you to avoid costly mistakes. And in fact, not only costly, but some of these mistakes are disastrous. So a business plan is a roadmap that helps you start and grow a good business. And why write a business plan? Next slide, please, Mercy. Why write a business plan? It helps you organize your ideas. It helps you to decide whether to start or not. And I'll just give you a quick analogy or an illustration here. Somebody called, the lady who set up Terra Culture, Mrs. Bolanle Edwards, she told us her story. She said she had been on a UN mission and like outside the country, and she found out that all her colleagues, when the children of the Swedish person came into the room, he would speak Swedish. When the Japanese brother or sister comes into their office, that one will speak Japanese. And then her own children will come and speak English. And everybody was asking her that, don't your children speak their native language? You never heard your beautiful language. And she kind of frowned her face and decided right within her that when she comes back to Nigeria, she was going to start a language school. So she decided to write this beautiful business plan for a language school, how it will have rooms, how they will teach Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa in the same place, under the same roof. It was going to be so cool. And she sent a message across to GTB that she wanted to speak to Mr. Eddie Aderioku. That was he is now late, one of the co-founders of GTB. And the secretary told her, sorry, he's not available. And she would call again, and the secretary would say, sorry, he's not available. But one day, Mr. Eddie Aderioku called her and said, I hear you've been trying to see me. And she said, yes, sir. And he said, can you come now? I have an hour free between now and 4 p.m. And she raced there with her business plan. Because she had a business plan, it was good. He flicked through it. He said, wow, this is a good idea, but it will not make enough money. You have to sell cultural foods. You need to have a gallery. Maybe you should have a hall that you can rent out. Then you can site it on the island. And there and then, Terra Culture was born. They used to sell what they call designer rice, which is Ofada rice, by the way. 1 million naira worth a day was being sold. It was more popular than the language school. And then she had art gallery. And today, she's taking all her productions all over the world. She's taking Fela to UK and some other places, and she's hosting plays and so on and so forth because she had a business plan. It helps you with requirements for securing finance. There is no good banker who will not want to look at the lever of your profit and loss statement. And if this resonates with you, put it in the chat box. Those questions that the bankers have been asking you, probing, knowing how much you are making, looking at your account and comparing it to the figures you have in your business plan. And they're asking themselves, hey, this person, I hope he or she will not make away with my money. Is she making enough money to pay back this loan she's asking for? It helps you to attract investors, to document your strategies. Oh, if you see the business plan of some particular enterprises, they give you the short term, give you the medium, give you the long term. You can imagine the kind of business plan an Uber would have had, or the kind of business plan a landmark, even right here in Nigeria, would have had. When the founder took a helicopter to go and find where he would get the particular size of land he needed for his dream location. So all these things go into your business plan. So the main purpose of a business plan is to show the future financial performance of the company. So don't get it twisted. My dear friends, neighbors, countrymen, when some of you write business plans, it's all grammar, stories. You know, the company is going to double its revenue in the next 3 years. Did you show how? We are going to be the leading concierge company in Africa. How? What is your strategy? What is your unique selling proposition? What are the risks? You know how much money they raised in Series A funding? And with one stroke of Governor Sanwo-Olu's pen, Go-Kada was banned for a while. But thank God the logistic companies are back on track. But remember, you had the Okada ban. Even right now, fintech companies, they are facing it. Many of our agriculturists, you know, we don't have to go high tech. If you see what the agriculturists are facing, those into poultry, the risks were there during the lockdown. Animal feeds, they couldn't get corn. People could not go to farm. There was a ban in place on corn at that time. It had to be relaxed. So in your business plan, you have to identify risks. Don't tell us all the stories. We need to be sure about the business idea. We want to know about the management. We want to know about the risks and what you would do to mitigate them. We want to have predictions about market trends. If you are building shop now and you are going to rent one mall in one plaza, think again. Half of the world is online. Competitor behavior, current customer behavior, customer requirements, what kind of quality of product do they want? How fast do they need that service? You must be able to define and prioritize key business objectives, financial objectives, non-financial objectives, such as even knowledge and learning, such as operations and your process. What are the objectives you have there? How much waste are you going to incur? Are you going to have an objective maybe to keep your waste less than 5%? Are you going to have an objective towards your stakeholders? How are you going to satisfy them by making sure you are making profit year on year? All these things need to be in a business plan. Next slide. Next slide. Thank you. So, how can a business plan help in starting a business?
Can you rest?
We have virtually answered this question. Once again, we are having some interference. Please mute yourself. Statistics vary, but research has shown up to 80% of small businesses fail within the first 3 years of establishment. Why do they fail? Inadequate management skills. Many of you don't attend those entrepreneurship courses or plug into a place like MSME Africa where they give you information for virtually free. Failure to prepare a proper business plan is high, very, very high in this regard. You need to collect information and verify it for a new business. Remember, Bolanle Austin Peters wanted to do language school. Thank God for Mr. Eddie Aderioku, who saw beyond what she wrote and decided to help her so that she could actually move forward and create a business plan on something that would really help her. So, can we have the next slide, please? What do we mean by compelling? Compelling, what does that word actually mean? It means attracting attention. It means unputdownable, evoking interest, admiration in a powerful and irresistible way. For your information, as Dr. Doyin Salami will tell you at Lagos Business School, your baby is ugly. Ladies and gentlemen, it has nothing to do about your child. It is about SMEs in general who take bankers' time, who borrow small money, unlike the Dangotes. So if you, and the bankers, they receive several proposals every day. Their table is full. If they only kept those proposals on the table, it would probably be like a tower as high as that. So right from the cover page, your business plan has to command interest. It should contain facts. I have told you, leave out the stories. Talk about the uniqueness. Talk about the edge that you have over competitors. Talk about your unique selling proposition, about the risks and the mitigants, about your strengths, and even partly you identify your weaknesses. It should contain what investors want to see, which is a clear path to the money. That is what investors want to see. And the message you are sending is that, man, I am serious. I ain't here to play. So may we have the next slide, please? And we're still talking about the compelling business plan. You can also protect your ideas with a confidentiality or non-disclosure statement. You will let whoever is reading this business plan realize that the information in it should not be divulged except with your permission. And this is important. Please don't just download something from internet. You may actually need to ask a lawyer to draft this for you. It's quite important. Can we go to the next slide? Next slide, please. Now, the major sections of a business plan include the executive summary, but we actually write this last. The business, and in the business, okay, don't let me move too fast. Executive summary is like condensed milk. Please, if you remember condensed milk, that means you are almost as old as I am. Huh? Put something in the chat box that, oh yes, I remember. Condensed milk is so sweet, isn't it? Because it would have a paragraph or the most important point in each of the other sections. They will now be condensed together as executive summary. You see those bankers, they are very busy people. Oh. They don't have time. Gabriel Fadamiton says, oh yes, I remember. Thank you. Wale Oseni, yes, condensed milk. Some of us used to go and, hide that thing under the table to take the thing conk, because it was so sweet. So Salawa Yodeji, I remember condensed milk. That is how your executive summary must be. Yusuf Adekunle, it must be sweet. It must be juicy. Michael Adediron, you must create an executive summary that arrests the attention of the bank MD, of the angel investor, of the grant proposal officer, so that they can, look into your proposal. Thank you. Now, more like the abstract for your paper, MSME Africa says that, good. Then the business, you must describe your business in lucid terms, the market, the future, finances, and supporting documentation. Let's go into the next slide. Next slide, thank you. Taufik also remembers, that's awesome. That is awesome. So what is an executive summary? I believe we just discussed that. You know, it's filled after completion of all the other parts. It's very important, and you have to think it through. It has to be succinct. You know, it's not story. It's just the most important part of the business plan. Next slide, please. Thank you, Dekum. Well, I well remember. Beautiful. I have a lot of people who are oscillating with me. That is awesome. With you, Akikpelu remembers very well. Oh, lovely. Taufik Olayinka. Beautiful. And Debola says, oh, yes, that is it. So that's your executive summary. Next slide. Next slide. And now the business itself. Ladies and gentlemen, you ain't got a business if you don't have a need that you are feeling or a problem you are solving. That is it. People don't want to buy for the sake of buying. Do you know what happened with COVID? There was shrinkage. Ruti Mijayesimi says I was too young. Are you sure this is not irony? Okay, let's digress. So it's fun to have people of all generations. You know, we have 4 generations in the workplace now. The millennials, the baby boomers, the Generation X, Generation Y, we are all there. So we are happy to have you. So this business must have a solution that is providing. Now look at the story of Mr. Fole Adiola, and that's his partner, Mr. Aderioku. You know, I just love that couple, you know, the way they started that first generation bank. Well, I know things are going on now, but everybody is still trying to keep business afloat. So what is happening? They were young people, and Mr. Dr. Kolawole Omole, thank you so much for all the description on condensed milk. That's awesome. Fola Adiola and Mr. Aderioku, they were young bachelors located at the Ikoyi area of Lagos, and every time they needed a haircut, they had to go all the way to Surulere. And they thought to themselves, are we the only ones doing haircut in Ikoyi? Other people must need this service. How come there's no barber? So they opened a barbing shop. And I tell you, it was so successful. They sold it, and with the proceeds, they went to start off Guarantee Trust Bank, which is still alive and thriving today. So in my situation, as Mercy mentioned, I'm a pharmacist by background, and I found out that just opening a retail store, it was not going to help my government. So I thought of starting a range of first aid kits. And with these first aid kits, I did a prototype. I went to Pfizer Industry, which is now called Nime, and they told me, we like this box, so can we order 10? I told them, I said, calm down now. You know, I didn't know calm down there, but that's what I was saying in short. I have not even opened the shop. I'm just doing a fact finding. They said, no, they've been looking for a first aid box that is not written in German or Arabic and something. So I was able to sell, went to doing industries they procured, went to so many places, and I found out that there's a market for it. Eventually, I've created 6 different kinds of first aid boxes. And then when people see the box, they will now say, well, how do I use it? So I decided to create first aid training. Do you see how to link things? You see how to link? You have solved the problem number 1. When problem number 2 comes up and it's related, you solve the problem number 2 as well. Let's have the next slide, please. So this is what we mean about you solving a problem. It is more than just writing a business plan. Mercy, if you can blow it up, I think I would appreciate. It's looking pretty small on my phone. I don't know. I hope others are having a better deal. Okay, so the business, you have to look at the legal status. Are you a partnership? Are you a limited liability company? Is it a sole proprietor that you are doing? You need to let us know about that. You need to mention the taxes and the legal issues. please note that ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Oh, you need to talk to professionals. Recently, a friend of mine hosted a webinar on NSITF, this Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund. You know, there's an act backing it. The pension fund is also there, and you are mandated as an employer. You have to make deductions. If you didn't make deductions, even after the staff has gone away, they can come to you and say, come and pay all those back month's salary deductions you are supposed to make. So in terms of taxes, you have to pay your personal income tax. For directors, I just got my own assessment delivered to my table today, you know, so you can smile or not smile when you see it. Payee is there that you have to pay and deduct from all your staff. Company income tax, that is CIT, it has to be well calculated. You have to make provision for it too. You have to state that you're going to pay all these taxes and you be a good citizen. Okay, you're a bad citizen, it's not funny. Oh. Sales tax, if applicable, value-added tax, and remember, you need to know about the law. Recently, you had CAMA 2020, then you had Finance Act. So you have to be aware of some of these things, even in writing your business plan. Because if your turnover is less than 25 million, you will not be liable to pay tax. So all these are very, very, very important. Let's have the next slide. Let's have the next slide. Let's have the next slide. So the market. Now I have to talk about the market. Mercy. Let's have the next slide. Let me just see what's in the chat room. Okay. Yes, I advise you to join the MSME community. Just click on that link. Olubukola Mercy has shared that link with you. About the slide, we'll have to talk about that later. Let's enjoy this while we can. Okay, so the market is all about what the consumer wants, what the customer wants, what they need, how do they need it, in what quality, in what size, in what color. That is why when some people changed a certain drink and made it nude, colorless, they were on their own, no, nobody bought it. If it's supposed to be brown and we want it brown, why are you changing a winning formula? So marketing is so important. Many entrepreneurs, they sit in their shop every day and lament that business is bad. Thank you very much, Oloyede Olawale. It's so wonderful. Yes, Fatai Olayemi, you will not pay company income tax. Thank you so much for helping me to reiterate that fact. If your revenue is less than 25 million. Okay, and remember, not all the revenue is profit. So now it does not matter how good your product or service is. If you don't market it, if you don't have leads are just like inquiries potential, and then qualified leads, those ones that can become customers, and then you convert them to customers and they become your apostle. For a life first aid kit, I want to just give all the glory to God. There are some people who left one company, maybe they left Wando, they have gone to somewhere else. They will still invite us to come and serve the new company. They will leave that company, go to another one. They will still invite us to come and do first aid training because they enjoyed the training. They were clapping and dancing throughout the training. Okay, I'm just pulling your leg, guys. We do serious stuff as well, but we try to make it fun. Let's have the next slide. The next slide, because I'm having like 10 minutes more so that you guys can ask questions. Great. We now continue with market research. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen up. If you don't take anything away from this presentation, you must do market research. That process of learning what your customers need, what your competitor is offering, where the gap is, and how you will fill the gap in what that competitor is leaving behind, how you are going to bring your own product to fill the gap. It is key. You're going to talk to potential suppliers. You talk to various categories of people. And I can share with you what happened when I wanted to do Keke Marua business. Because I just felt, I need to supplement my income. How am I going to do it? Okay, I used 1 year to study the business. So you don't dabble into things you don't know. Ladies and gentlemen. So I went to find out from all this up national progress. I went to the motor park. I went to, what kind of keke is good? They say it's so tight. I went to the industry. Thank God I serviced them with first aid boxes. So I asked them, how much is it? They say it's so amount. Can I come and pick one? They said, no, it's completely knocked down component. So you are the one going to arrange it yourself. Okay. And when you arrange it, you drive it home. I said, you drive home without number plates? I said, no, I got my driver. Go and purchase that knockdown part. Get me the chassis number. Go to licensing office. Get number plate. Attach it to the thing before you start driving it. I'm not ready to lose my money. Even the first Keke Marwa I did, I insured it. Research on your competitors. I had to find out the people already in the business. How much was the thing delivering? How frequently do the drivers run away? The up national people at the park, they told me, say, Kotobe, he cannot run away. We are going to ground him here. Where will he operate if he does not have our permission? So all these findings help you to put up a business plan and determine whether to do the business or not. Next slide. Next slide. We have to move pretty fast. Next slide. Okay, so we've now finished with the market. We are now talking about you as the entrepreneur running the business and the kind of business you want to run. If you have a good location, that's strength. If you don't have enough money, it's a weakness. If the government has just banned poultry in the market and you want to set up a poultry business, that is opportunity. It's external. If cyber hacking and co is the order of the day, and your business, you want to take it online, that is a threat, okay? Or there could be a policy, like in one stroke of Governor Sanwo-Olu's pen, remember, all Okadas had to leave the road. So do a SWOT analysis, your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And go on, next slide, into the external environment. Hey, this one is now interesting. You do what they call pestle analysis, political factors that can be of use to you. Technological, you know, technology is happening now. All that lockdown, people eliminated banks per se. They just eliminated them. They were using money transfer, money agents. Legal, what is happening? I understand that a magistrate told me, in fact, she's a judge now. She said, it is no longer come today, come tomorrow in the law court, that even as a judge, you have to have certain number of cases you have decided. So things are getting better in the legal landscape. And I told you about KAMA 2020, I told you about Finance Act. You have to be abreast of them. In the environment, what is happening? A lot of people are fighting for change in climate change. So you cannot stand up one day and say, I'm exporting charcoal to the UK because it's very expensive there. The environmentalists can be waiting for you. Socially, there are a whole lot of people out of jobs, and it affects even security. In the economy, look at GDP growth, look at inflation rates, look at macroeconomic indicators. Better look at all these things when you are trying to put your business plan together, because they can impact your company. And you need to shape your marketing strategy to overcome some of the limitations in your environment. Let's go to the next slide. Next slide, we'll be talking about the future. What is your vision for the business? Right now, I run a management consulting company as well. And my vision is to be the preferred provider of capacity building packages for individuals and organizations who have a mandate for job creation in Africa. So how am I, from this little Nigeria of mine, going to impact Africa? I'm already thinking of how to scale. Today, we graduated 26 young Nigerians in an employability program. Some of them have jobs already, and that is how to start achieving your vision. Look at the International Labour Organization's Expand Your Business program. A business vision describes why your business exists. And you cannot say, I'm existing to make money. Hey, money will come if you give value. So the product you will offer, to who, how, where, you need to outline your vision and even have your mission statement, have your core values, and so on. Let's move to the next slide. I'll probably eat into Q&A time. The finances. You know, when you first start a business, you don't start making money immediately. So, for instance, when I started Rely Supply Limited in 1991, the co-founder and I, we decided to put aside 6 months' salary for the first 2 staff we will have. You know, pharmacy, they always open to like 8 or 9 p.m. So you cannot have 1 staff from morning to night. We had to have morning shift and evening shift. And we had 2 staff. And it was decided that I would not earn a salary. So all these things are decisions about your financing, and it will go into those financial statements. Next slide. We're still talking even about financing. The required startup capital. Whosoever wants to build a tower and does not sit down to count the cost. Look, some business is not easy like that. Don't just think, what can I do with 100,000 naira? That's not the way to go about it. You first decide what kind of business you want to go into. Is it graphic design? If it's graphic design, I'm going to need a laptop. What kind of laptop will I need? It is not every kind of laptop that is good for graphic design. Maybe minimum Core i3. Okay, am I going to need a printer? Am I going to buy some software? Am I going to need video animation, whatever? You know, you sit down and count the cost. Even capital investments, your business premises, or whether you want to work from home. And then remember what I told you about the salaries and wages. You have to set such aside. Next slide. Next slide. The next slide is just an example, I think, of maybe somebody who wants to set up a solar panel installation business. Look at the materials, it's about 2.5 million. He's going to need one Tata Kuku vehicle that it has like a open back. What do they call those vehicles again? Anybody who remembers the name, put it in the chat box. You know those again borrow kind of vehicles. He's going to need 1.5 million for that. Then he will need a business premises that has a bit of space. Okay. Oloyede Lawale is giving me some pressure here on this slide. We shall see. We shall see. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. And in terms of your finances, types and sources of startup capital, even God asked Moses, what do you have in your hand? So please, the bankers will ask you, what equity contribution will you make? Even some of the big development banks like BOI, like DBN, Development Bank of Nigeria, they also want you to have equity. So they will ask you, how much do you have in trying to start up the business? Then loans. Are you going to need a loan? This is money you lend from the bank or from an organization. Venture capitalists will not lend you money if you are just starting, but maybe private equity, FAP, or something like that. And then grants. You can apply for, you win. Apply for Tony Elumelu Foundation. Win $5,000. Ha! You don't hammer. So, you know, these are where you can get money from. So if you are writing the business plan for a grant, this is where to put what you need in. Let's go to the next slide. Let's go on to the next slide and round this up very, very quickly. So I have told you about the different 3 different financial statements. I've already explained them: profit and loss, cash flow, and the statement of financial position. Mercy, please go to the next slide because I put samples there. So this is the sample of an income statement. You start off with your revenue. Maybe you have 2 different products, like merchandise. In this example now, then somebody is doing music lesson, okay? And his total revenue is there in dollars. Then all the expenses, don't forget to deduct your expenses. Not all revenue is profit. It's after you deduct your expenses that you have some net income at the bottom of that page. Next slide. When it comes to cash flow is a very beautiful financial statement. It helps you to really realize whether you're going to run out of cash, because money is like the lifeblood of any business, okay? So you have the cash at the start of the month. If you got any loan or any other thing from sales, you add it, you will know the total cash in. Now, direct materials are the items you use to produce that product or service that you sell. So in that solar panel installation example, somebody should type in the chat box, what are the direct materials for solar panel? You know, just put something in the chat box. Let me see whether you are following me. And then when I say direct labor, the people who are actually involved in doing the making the service or making the product. And then indirect costs are those costs like rent that are invisible, like PHCN, you pay. Good. So they could say solar panel. The panel itself is a direct material. Battery, beautiful. Oh, my people are flowing. I am on top of the world. This is an awesome, awesome participatory presentation this evening. Thank you, Gabriel, for following me. Oh, God bless you. Cables. Chukwemeka Ebu. It looks like you won't start this business, so we cannot tell us the truth. Okay, beautiful. And then all the outflows are subtracted, and you actually have cash at the end of the month. This is a very good thing to do a cash flow plan. I tell you, this thing really helped me as a tool. It will tell you when you need more money. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, side hustle. Oh, Chukwemeka, that is wonderful. So I'm speaking to you today. Let's go to the next slide. The next slide should be telling us about the balance sheet. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Go to the next slide. That forecasting is some of the other things I do. So sample balance sheet. You know, the balance sheet is like taking a picture of a company at a particular time. That's why you have a date. As at 31st of December 2017, your assets, it will show it. The ones that are current, like cash in bank. Long-term assets, maybe like land or your equipment. You know, you can turn it into cash if you wish, your total asset. Then your liabilities, all the things you owe, it will be there. Accounts payable. If you have some creditor, will come and drop battery and solar panel in your shop. Now, debt be that you are still going to pay it. It will be on your balance sheet. Long-term liabilities are there. Me loan during that COVID time, I kukuma apply. I wrote business plan and I got it. So that loan now is there under my long-term liabilities because you'll be paying small over some months. And then owner's equity, what you own, even your own stake in the business, it will be well represented. And of course, that gives us the balance sheet. Let's go to the next slide. We're rounding up, quite rounding up. So forecasting is something I will just touch on briefly. It helps you predict what is going to happen in the future. For instance, if you are in Lagos and your rent is 100,000 naira this year, Lagos State has a law that says the landlord can put 20% on it. So when you are doing forecasting, make una put the 20% on the next year's rent. It's a tool for predicting the future. Let's go to the next slide. It is, I am feeling you guys this evening, feeling you guys. Okay, now forecasting. Okay, this is just explaining that predicted demand. Okay, sometimes people look back and they use it to predict the future. Like, how much was I spending on NEPA before? If I now have more staff, they are using more light, what will I pay? This is all forecasting. Next slide, next slide, next slide, next slide, next slide. Okay, let's just go up. Next slide, because we've explained this, all this rent last year go up by 20%. You put these things there. Now, supporting documents, I tell you, no business plan is complete without putting things like your CAC, your own CV, shareholders agreement, even husband and wife. If you now want to start business together, I beg you, have an agreement. If you want to go into partnership with somebody, have an agreement. Then the sweetest kind of document that the banker wants to see is called off-taker. So if you are making chin-chin and Arik Air or Aero have promised to buy 1,000 pieces per month from you, that is the kind of document you need to put into your business plan so that the bankers can know that there's going to be a stream of income. If you are a consulting business, you want to start off and you already have a promise from a bank that you will train their SMEs for 6 months, add that to your business plan. Go to the next slide. We're now done. We have only 33 slides. And go to the next slide. I think we are getting to the end. Just before we get to the end, I will now remind you of your condensed milk. All those sweet parts that you took from marketing, the strategies, the taxes you are going to pay, the 3 financial statements. What is it telling you about startup costs? And how long will that you use to break even? Or what will your balance sheet be like or something? You now pick some of those key areas and put it in your executive summary. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a relay race. It has been a great pleasure. It has been a vibrant discussion. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Oloyede Olawale. I'm getting some love in the chat box. I'm getting some real love here. And there are questions, and I would leave Mercy to raise those questions. Like Chukwemeka Egu has a question. Abimbola Cole says cost of generator, cost of diesel. Oh, yes, all that should be part of your expenses, indirect costs. Thank you, Afolabi, for wowing me. Thank you, Salau Damilola Sherifat, Rahim Adetutu. Thank you very much, Adetutu, for talking about the PowerPoint. All right, so here we are. Mercy.
Yes, Ma. Wow, the energy was so high, and yes, the class was so invigorating, insightful, eye-opening, and I'm sure everybody agrees with me because the chat box is full and everybody is happy. So thank you so much. Thank you for pouring so much into us. We do appreciate. So quickly, I think the first question we have is, how do I get TIN and other legal documents to run a registered business thing? That is from Chukwemeka Egu to you, ma'am.
Okay, how does he get TIN? Yes, right now there's a handshake between FIRS. So even if you get a lawyer to register a business for you, you will be immediately given a TIN number. Prior to now, we used to have to apply. You know, you go and apply, say, oh, I want to apply. This is the name of my company, blah, blah, blah. But if you haven't yet registered the business, you will be given a TIN as you register right from the Corporate Affairs Commission. So you need to engage a lawyer. If not, you can try and do it on your own. It's also possible to have online registration. You go to the CAC site, Google is your friend, plug in CAC, and you'll find out that you are able to ask for, reserve a name. You can make payments, and at a point in time, you have to go to some of their offices. You have to go to their office to complete it. Thank you very much for that question. And I see Oluseun Akinola saying, thank you very much for this session. You didn't speak as a consultant, but somebody that has gained active experience. 30 years is no joke.
Yes, of course. That is so right. That is so right. So I'm sure Mr. Chukwemeka Egu has gotten his answer from your response, ma. So Mr. Salau Ayodeji said, how possible is it to get a copy of a good business plan to use as a template, ma?
Okay, you can get that online. You can go to a place called score.org. Okay? Score, SCORE.org. Score.org, and you put in business plan for a startup company. Good, thank you, Mercy. That's awesome. And you can even get for the kind of business you want. You can have business plan for agricultural business plan for consulting business, and so on and so forth. And you can also put it in Google, and it will help you.
Okay, ma, thank you. So I'm actually chuckling because Mr. Chukwemeka Egu seems to be so much on your neck this evening. And he said many times, ma, we appreciate if you be my business mentor. My side hustle was growth. So I leave you to be the judge of that. At this point, it's between you and Mr. Chukwemeka.
I'm sending my contact details, our email for further information. People should send an email to this address, but you do know that definitely as a consultant, this is really what we do for our major business, but we might be able to help people with maybe a template. I could also send that to Mercy. Mercy, there could be a free template for those who maybe want to write their business plan on their own. But for those who need help, then they should send us an email and we can take it up from there.
All right. Thank you so much, Mar. So, Mr. Afolabi Azan, I think that answers your question on the template. Then if she's to assist with one, please do send her an email at info@simplyexponential.com. So from Galaxy X8, it says, please, I have a practical question, Ma. So I think because it is practical, we might have to ask him to unmute himself and ask so that he will be able to explain himself further. So Galaxy S8, in few minutes, kindly unmute and ask your practical question. Galaxy S8, are you there, please?
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
My name is Olayinka. Thank you very much, Ma. This is very insightful, and I'm happy to be part of this class today. My question is very simple, and it's just, but I put it together. Number one, you talk about the environment of starting a business, and you talk about pestle. And looking at the situation of the country right now, mostly all the political, technology, legal is very difficult. How can one start a business in such environment, knowing fully that, yes, I can do this thing, but I have challenges in all this area? That is one. Secondly, if you are able to start a business, eventually you try and you manage to start a business, and suddenly something happened, something that you never project for, just like coronavirus happened. How can one survive with the understanding that you borrowed a lot of money to start a business, you went through thick and thin to start a business, and suddenly such thing happened? And how can one survive that kind of calamity and still, have the business alive? Thank you, ma. That's my question.
You are very welcome, and I will tell you one thing. You can ask the Britons or ask the Americans. The best time to start a business and make money is after the war. Even Mercy will tell you, during the lockdown, there were people making millions. And why were they making millions? They were addressing the needs of people. Simple face mask. A friend of mine in one of my networks, she got a job to make millions of face masks. And she had a way of getting her staff back to the sewing machines, getting the material bit by bit, sewing the masks. And then it was distributed free of charge because there was a need. Some companies made more money, like the data companies, like food. Right now, every one of us needs a farmer 3 times a day, yes or no? In Lagos, there are 20 million people. If each person buys 100 naira food, that is 2 billion. So I want you to ask yourself and ask your neighbor, how much of that money is coming into your pocket? If you are selling bread, part of it is coming into your pocket. If you are selling healthy foods, if you are selling snacks, if you are selling baby food, if you are selling yam flour or gari, part of that money is coming into your pocket. So what you need to do is to identify the need of people. The need, even during the lockdown, entertainment, people were paying. Now, people have gotten more creative. Kofi the Guru, he has created film, 500 naira. You go to one site, pay 500 naira and watch his movie. Somebody wanted to reach out to those doing party during COVID and they couldn't do big party. And he went to sing so-and-so Chocomilo, sugar, pack this into a flash, 50K. You pay 50K for praise singing. And then you can now put the music on while you're having your Zoom birthday, and they think that there's a band in the live, in the background. There's no band, though, flash drive, they play 50K. So I tell you, you need to find out the need of people and go for it. If you are able to solve a problem or feel a need, the sky is the limit for that business. So don't just say, I'm selling hats, I'm selling this. If that is not what they are buying right now, go for the needs of people and make your business. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mara. That is very eye-opening too. Then I think it's also buttress the point where when you said that you shouldn't just dabble into things. You should at least make your research. Then from there you would be able to know what is actually in need, rather than just do things because you feel that it is going to be profitable, it's going to thrive. So thank you, Ma. It's
You're
really
very, very welcome.
yes,
About 8:30 now, 8:30.
okay.
So we
Oh, wow. Wow.
I would like to thank Gabriel. Gabriel put my web address. You know, sometimes technology can be funny. I can't chat anymore. You know, sometimes you want to chat, you can't chat. So technology is funny. And thank you for saving our bacon, Gabriel.
Yeah. So, Mr. Gabriel, thank you. So right about now, I don't think we have any more questions coming in, or do we still have anyone who wants to ask question, because we will be rounding up now. And to do that, I would like to invite Mr. Sheye. He is the founder of MSME Africa, and he is my Oga at the top. So please, Mr. Sheye, you have the floor.
I need to unmute myself. Thank you so very much, Mrs. Fayo. There was so much energy in the room from the very. Thank you very much, and God bless you. And I'm really not surprised. 30 years of experience is no joke. And I'm sure you know that you're one of those people I look up to within the MSME ecosystem. And I appreciate what you do, and especially what I've just done. I also appreciate everyone that we have this. And this is just going to be better. I know some of you are not part of our community yet, but we do a lot more than this. We have regular trainings every week. There are a lot of information within it. So to just do everyone the world of good, we can use our community, and let's drop link to join the community in the chat box. Concerning the slides, people have been asking for it. I will talk to Mrs. Williams and see what is possible. The recordings, we would make it available to you if you are part of our community. We will share the link there. And then that's pretty much everything. I don't want to keep us for too long because it's already past 8:30. But I want to agree, everybody agrees with you. It's been a very wonderful and quite time. So this is the point where I say I'm ready. So let me stop my video. I hope it's better now. So I said
it's thank better, you very Mr. Sheye, it's better.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Mrs. Fayo Williams, once again. Thank you, everyone who are trying to be a part of this. Our next business growth series will happen next month, but like I said, there are activities within our community every day, every week, every time. Thank you so much, and have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Happy night, trust everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to hearing from you. Welcome, Mercy.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Good night, ma'am.
Wow, people are still chatting.
So please, for the person who said, I have dropped the link, please use the link.
You can use the link to join. All the very best, everybody.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gabriel. I can see that you've helped with the first.
All right. Can we have everybody, like, if those who can use their video and we take a picture?
Okay.
That would be nice. Okay, good. Can see Shaya there. All right. Wow. Hope I have gallery view. Maybe you can take it from your end. Mercy, if you can see, have a better view, gallery view. You can take it from your end then.
Okay, ma.
All right, great. All the very best. Thank you. All right then. Good night,
Bye.
everybody. Nice
night,
being here. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.